man. As you can see, I have some good news, everyone. My computer's been unbricked and I got everything set up again. Although it might have been a bit loud. Let's see. See if we get a good balance for the volume. I think that'll work. Hopefully. I also did a couple bulk extracts just before this and managed to extract both that ID and this ego. Might as well thread spin it. Let's see. It's a pretty sizable boost. What do you think? Good spin? Okay, let's do it! I might as well do the same with this one. This will wear me down, the rains may weather me, hollow up at the edge of my blade, and shall never dull, therefore I will take... Didn't even give me enough time to read that. How rude! The other team, the LCD, the Phenomena Deciphering team, gave me a set of prosthetic arms today. These Dokaibi arms, that's what they called them, I believe, feel just like my real arms, like I was born with them. It must have cost them a fortune to get me something this fine. I suppose this is one more I'm in their debt, which I intend to pay them back in gratitude. They've been telling me things to make me feel better. This is the bare minimum you'll need to work on the on-site investigation team, or, hey, distortions are not going to go easy on you just because you're missing an arm. An arm? I think you mean missing your arms. I know they mean well. They're just trying to make sure I don't feel like I owe them anything. But if I'm being honest, I still feel like I haven't done nearly enough to repay their kindness. Mentor, for all the years I devoted myself to the blade lineage, I looked prepared to let a blade bite into my flesh if it met season opening to cleave through the bones of my enemies. Because that is how a Salsu must carry herself, as the saying goes. When tremors ran through my sword hand, I would not still them before raising the blade. When my arms grew heavy as lead from exhaustion, I would swing through that weight. I knew no other way how to make use of myself, and that was who I was. And now, somehow, that same person now spends her days jotting in paperwork. I'm doing all I can to learn more about everything that happened, about that accursed artifact they call Monolith. And that wretched form he had been reduced to, what they call a distortion phenomenon. My whole life I've never had so much as a passing interest in anything that wasn't the blade, so taking in all this knowledge to learn about things beyond the steel feels quite unfamiliar to me. It's not so easy to learn new things when you don't even understand half the words you're reading in a paper, or what strange contraption that jargon's referring to, for that matter. The same document that other people seem to understand after just a quick skim, I've had to reread over and over before its content finally sank in. Then there were times I'd ask for the same explanation twice, 3 times even, while others had already understood the material and moved on. But I don't think I hate this feeling. Learning something new every day, feeling my eyes slowly opening to a world I never knew. It's more exciting than I thought. I only wish I had learned more that there are ways to view the world through a wider lens, not just through what was reflected on my narrow blade. How does one's heart fall apart? How does that fractured heart surface and take physical form? Once we've learned that, how do we prevent it from happening, or if it has already happened, how do we bring the subjects back from that? What records do we want to keep? What are the signs and things we must watch out for? These are all things I never would have learned if I had never unclasped my hand from the hand of my blade. Maybe that's why I feel like I can't relate to the maxim as how Salsu must carry herself as much as I used to. Of course I don't mean to say I've grown ashamed of that, because I am still fond of wielding my blade and will not hesitate to cut down what must be cut down. It's just that I am learning little by little that not every answer has to begin with unsheathing my sword. And I've learned to face what remains when a blade has been wielded. And another thing. As you must be well aware yourself, most fellows here at the LCD are kind folk. I suppose I should admit, their kindness may be uncomfortable at first. I've never been shown goodwill that asked for nothing in return, so every thoughtful word and gesture of kindness felt like one more debt settling on my shoulders. With time, I came to understand something. There are people who will gladly give me the time of day, offer their seats without making anything of it, and explain things I don't understand without irritation. People who tell me to rest when I look exhausted. The nights I'd fallen to sleep in the elements, the stars in the night sky as my roof, and dirt beneath me as my bedding, are starting to fade beyond the veil of memories. Days when I'd crawl under a stranger's eaves when it rained, days when we'd be mired in an endless strife against the black clouds. They seem so distant now. For months now I've been waking up in a cushy bed that sinks softly when I lie on it. I haven't gone a single day these past few months uncertain of where my next meal would come from, or if I'd even have enough water to wash the day's grime off. I have my worries these days. They're concerns I would have once called a luxury back in the day. I have frivolous questions like, what drink do I want to get today as I make my way to the office? I still can't decide if this is the kind of lifestyle that suits me. But if the team can tolerate my presence here for a bit longer, I intend to remain until I can find my own direction in life. The day might come when I decide this path isn't for me and choose to leave. But by then, I hope I'll have become someone who has learned to grasp a better sense of the road ahead. But I don't suppose you'll be changing anytime soon, Mentor. You'll still wander off on your own without telling anyone, or retreat to your room and shut yourself away for days. Yes, I know well enough that the path to recovery is an arduous one. Wounds of the heart are unlike wounds of the flesh. After all, you can't simply stitch them shut, salve them with ointment, and expect everything to be alright. But, at the very least, I'd like to remember this. The blade lineage is no more, but you and I, Mentor, we survived. And the living have their own responsibilities they must see to. Whichever journey you embark on, whether you choose to take up the blade again, abandon it forever, fulfill your responsibilities to the blade lineage, or return to S-Corp. Never lose sight of what you must do. No, never lose sight of where your heart really wishes to go. Judy, you still writing? It's for the hat guy, right? Well, it is, but I guess I just had a lot on my mind that I wanted to tell him. So how are you feeling about today? Got the butterflies, no anxiety attacks? It's your first real mission with those spanking new arms. A bit anxious, yeah, but I'm not afraid. I couldn't feel any better. Gotcha, Junior. I'll trust you to have my back then. Team leader's already pinpointed the inflection point, so all you gotta do is cut right through that part. Understood. Then... Wait. It's rocket boosted? Well, I can see how that would work really well for punches. I'm not sure how that would work, how that help with one's blade work. Cool though. Limbus Company and LCR team. Distortion Specialist Ishmael. Commencing mission. Let's see. 5+ poise coin power +1. Use clash power +1 for every 5 bleed on target. Hmm. Yeah, probably ought to use that. I need more thread. As for bamboo goated Kim, actually probably more bamboo goated Merso.
얼마나 자객을 보내던 결국 내게는 반성 앞에 한수일 뿐이야. 아직 나의 한수는 끝나지 않았는데 응수할 텐가?
Maybe not. Man, that's a lot of scars. Why does he have that one glowing blue eye? Darn it. That was not planned. Crap! Freaking bots. AI viewers. I'm not interested in AI viewers. I'd rather have real viewers. Thank you very much.
여기는 순록, 선멸 지역 진입했어요.
Oh. Nope, bread.
그때는 어디까지 각오했을지.
충족. 지령.
Yeah, I think I got that Faust ID using ego shards since the last time I streamed this game. Also used ego shards to get the middle nurse father ID. Didn't even have to use ego shard crates for that one. That was nice.
이게 심장이. 잠깐 좀.
방심해.
Ban that hammer.
지령에 따라 참격. 태어난 곳으로 돌아와. 필연적. 절대적.
You know, considering what the will of the city is, yeah, it's sort of the collective unconscious of the city, I could definitely imagine there being a prescript that dictated. I could definitely imagine there being a prescript that dictated that Don Quixote, wear thigh-high stockings, I guess, simply because of how adorable she'd look in them. She's probably gonna be spamming her alternate skill 3.
앞으로 둘.
태어난 곳으로 돌아와. 살고자 하는 모든 것들과 함께 숲속에 파묻혀라.
Okay, maybe not spammy because she's gonna run out of enemies.
지령에 따라 참격. 사물. 엔화. 속에 파묻혀라.
Dang, do you really have to kill steal so much Ryoshu? Sheesh!
모처럼 괜찮은 예술을 보나 했더니
Eh,
벌써 뭐 애를
for good measure.
술록 몇 마리가 죽긴 했지만 이 정도면 살처분은 피했네요. 이만 돌아가서 새로운 술록들을 맞이할까요? 사령.
Sorry, Ted.
지령을 이행하지 않은 자들은 차례대로 정리되어 가고 있습니다. 머리카락을 663월 자른 뒤 편지 봉투에 넣어 3번 객찰구에 넣어라를 수행하기 위해서 조금 차질이 있을 뿐 걱정은 필요하지 않습니다.
333. Not bad. Oh, yeah. Crap! More!
집안일을 해결했으면 일찍 돌아가지.
끊어놨어. 숨통 죄다.
There. That did it. Oh shoot, I need to max his level out too. I forgot, I never did that. Whoops! Darn it. Huh. That's weird. Don't quite remember having that one. I do kind of need to win battles, though. What are the other ones that set ahead? Just those ones. All right. No, wait. For this one, we should go about it like... Oh, Heathcliff's been in the Vanguard for too long. I should pull him back and let him... Dante. Huh? Oh, sorry. Did you say something? I provided you an answer to your question, but you exhibited no observable response. Is the center's combat performance deteriorated beyond manageable parameters? Why is it deteriorating? No, things aren't that bad, but it's just hard to focus on one conversation when I'm trying to support battles happening in completely different places at once. On top of that, Rodia's shopping chatter is starting to get a little distracting. A few days after we entered N-Corp's district, the bus pulled over the back streets of N-Corp to take care of a distortion case. This contract was supposed to be handled jointly with the LCD team, but distortion suddenly started cropping up all over an area of the back streets called Butter Street. Huh. I wonder why it'd be called Butter Street. Without any coherent pattern. No obvious sign of origin or route of spread. Nothing convenient like that. I had no choice but to split the citizens into several groups and send them out. Otis, Ishmael, Sinclair, Don Quixote, Yiseng, and Merceau were on their way to rendezvous with the LCD team. Heathcliff, Gregor, and Hong Lu were suppressing distortions that had showed up from other directions. And with our onboard stock script down to the bottom, Vodia and Ryoshi were done with their share of the suppression work. Were put in charge of buying supplies for the bus. As for Faust, she decided to stay behind with me on the bus. I wanted to get through the consultation sessions I'd been putting off, and thought I might as well get myself some much-needed practice with handling the new golden bow power I'd acquired. To reiterate, there are no issues requiring special concern regarding Faust. You freaking liar! I saw what happened to the Geschel shaft! Come on. You can tell me. Come on! It is true that Faust has, on several recent occasions, expressed dissatisfaction with a certain Faust. However, those instances should be classified as a mere personal grievance. Uh-huh. I mean, that's good if that's all there is to it, but this is not the first time Faust had seemed unlike herself. There had been times before when she spent far longer alone than usual, lost in thought. Once when she could not produce immediate answers to questions from the other sinners or me. Could it be you can't access the Geschel shaft? May I ask your basis for that inference? Because you're acting a lot like you did back in the warp train. It appears there remain occasions in which you are still capable of surprising Faust, Dante. So I was right? You really are cut off from the Geschel shaft? That was not intended as a confirmation of your conjecture. Maybe she's saying that while she can technically access the Geschel shaft, it may as well be that she can't? I wish I could ask more and get to the bottom of it. But the way she was sidestepping the subject told me that prying wouldn't give me any further insight. Right, I won't press you if you don't want to talk about it. Your reserve is appreciated. Shall we move on? Yes, your consultation is the next agenda. After cross-referencing the records pertaining to the recent events of the House of Spiders, it would appear that the memories concerning the individuals designated as Sora and Ren currently remain only with you, Dante. As such, should the influence of Yoshu and her sword lead to further omissions in the official records, the manager will be responsible for supplementing the necessary information. Yeah, not the first time I was the only one left with intact memories, huh? So despite K-Corp's memory-wide procedure, Catherine's erasure by the Golden Bow's power, and Araya Shiki severing people from existence, I was the only one who remembered what had transpired. Ironically enough, the memories I had prior to swapping my head with this clock still showed no sign of returning. I want my old memories to come back, though. Is it because of this clock head? Maybe he's the amazing screw-on head? It'd be weird if that's actually how his prosthetic clock head got installed, wouldn't it? Speculation based on your experience with the bus team thus far will not meaningfully contribute to the recovery of former memories, Manager. Inductive reasoning conducted from memories with gaps, after all, is bound to have structural limitations. Bongi would serve as an adequate analogy. Bongi? Yes, Bongi. Receiving feed and increasing in body mass alone would provide it with no meaningful basis for identifying the purpose of its rearing. Even at the terminal stage, when exposed to kitchen instruments, the heat of the stove, its limited experience would prove inadequate to constitute an understanding of its ultimate fate and purpose. Likewise, the ultimate answer to your doubts can only be obtained from the whole of this experience that you will have accumulated at the terminus of your entire journey. That is your allotted mission. Because treasure awaits at the end of the road, at the end of hell. And that treasure will give me back my memories and my head, also. Indeed, at the end of the road, you will be able to engrave your aspect. I still have no idea exactly what an aspect means, or even whether it's an object, but if I know one thing, it's that the me from before all of this began had wanted it badly, obsessively, desperately. It's more like an instinctive knowledge. With my memories gone, that feeling, however strong it is, does not change the fact that it's just another word with no discernible mental image. And you're not going to tell me what it actually is, are you? The aspect. What it means, or why I wanted it so much. Or, I suppose, what exactly it means to engrave it. And why does that end with a comma? If it remains a piece of information that must be disclosed to you, then no. I am unable to tell you. Pay it no mind, you're still following your star acceptably. Why is that capitalized? Probably because it refers to a navigational star. Or more or less. Please concentrate on the journey. More importantly, have you grown accustomed to that incomplete power? Current observation suggests you have yet to arrive at that level. Well, I've gotten pretty used to focusing on one place at a time, but keeping track of several places at once is still a bit rough. Notice this team is doing well in combat even without my direct supervision. Rodia's team is shopping and not engaged in battle at the moment. Taking my mind off them would prove much easier. But that wouldn't give me the much needed practice, so I'm doing my best to keep an eye on every student's status. Sufficient familiarity should result in a substantial tactical value. You'd be able to cast a wider net with information gathering and employ previously unavailable tactical patterns. Right, and I'd also be able to tell them when it's a bad time to call someone in, too. Even as I continue to talk with Faust, make sure not to stop observing the places where each group is and what they're doing. Yep, pulling Heathcliff to the rear was the right call. I don't see any injuries. His team's still doing pretty well, even without my directions. As for Rhodia... Wait, did you just stuff all of the pastries and bread she bought into her pockets? How did she manage that with a huge baguette? Maybe because the pockets are bigger on the inside. She knows a Time Lord in Otis's group. Let's see. Ah, looks like they joined up with the LCD team without any issues. LCD. That guy over there must be... Hang on. Faust is a dude I've never... There's a dude I've seen before, but he seems a bit different from what I remember. Could you specify the issue? I'm monitoring the situation right now. We should probably join up with them too. Let's end the consultation here. This is rather precipitous, Dante. If the incident is of a serious nature, perhaps a request for support from the LCC... No, it's not an incident. I wouldn't say it's not serious. How's he gonna conceal his prosthetic head? They're in N-Corp's district, aren't they? That photo right there kind of freaks me out. Okay, need some water. I believe I've mentioned before that I do chrome plating for my day job. Yeah, the tanks are heated. Makes the chemical reaction happen faster, but it also means that the air around there is hotter and more humid than the rest of the plant. And this last week it's been particularly hot outside. And as you'd imagine, with most manufacturing, yeah, there's no AC. There's a lot of fans, but there's no AC. And so, as you'd imagine, yeah, probably a bit dehydrated. Just a bit, though. This is going from bad to worse, really. Dante seems to be tied up helping the other groups. Notice his command calls have been working out well enough. I'll give her that. We've managed to hold the line better than expected, but we're definitely starting to feel the strain. Why are you waving your hand all the... arm and hand signals? What signals? What's swinging the arm sideways even supposed to mean? You don't know? It's scattered, damn it! So scatter! That was close. We almost got flattened. Damn it, even rookies with nothing but the most rudimentary of military training would have recognized a hand signal that basic. Well, we're not all trained soldiers here, are we? Verily, the flourish of a single hand doth indeed make boast of a chivalric elegance. Yet when thou suddenly wavest thine arm about, clenching and unclenching thy hand in that mystical fashion, I do suddenly turn tail. Forsooth, I'm left bereft of understanding what thou meanest to say. To think that that of all the personnel in the team, only the Swabble has the discipline to interpret a basic field signal. Oh, Swabby. I only picked it up during my sailing days. Realistically speaking, did you really expect ordinary people like the others to understand professional military signals? This is unacceptable. After all the operations, all of you have been deployed under my lead. You're still ignorant when it comes to nonverbal signals? I don't think even Dante would know those signals. Yeah, I might as well be splitting hairs, literally. Let us appease our agitated hearts and follow Miss Otis's instruction. We should disperse and withdraw. Megaton landing! Is that what they had to get out of the way of? Hey, pretty cool, huh? Let's face it, I know how to make one heck of an entrance. You sure do. The surroundings kind of remind me of Diagon Alley. Whoa, aren't you supposed to be cleaning up the distortions upstairs? Oh, finito a million years ago. You guys were taking forever, so I figured I'd take a peek and lend a hand. You're welcome. Split by your thundering descent, the floor's form and shape are crushed beyond mending, sunken deep enough to be likened to the incipience of a wellspring. Don't you worry your head about it. That's all after teams to take care of. Anyway, that should be all of them, right? The force field need to neutralize the last of the distortions outside of the building. Great! Can you check on the distorted peeps' faces and clothes? Their faces are all segmented. Makes my skin crawl. Not a pleasant sight. As for their attire... this one appears to be a sweeper. And that one yonder bears the attire of an ordinary fixer. Why would there be a sweeper around this time of day? It looks like it's during the day. And this distortion I landed on, probably a local resident, judging by the clothes. Did any of you happen to see anything nearby bursting with a big pop and flash? Hey, not once. Okie dokie. You know what? Then let's all head upstairs. This suppression request is kind of a pain. We'll need to put together a nice, neat plan before we start poking it too hard. A pop and a flash sounds like a camera. What if there's a distortion that is somewhat like a camera, and like when it takes pictures of people, it causes them to distort? That'd be kind of freaky. A plan says thou? How? Was this not a mere matter of slaying distortions where they stand? Huh? Wait, did nobody brief you? This has often been the structure of our assignments. We are given instructions, we perform them, and only afterward do we begin to perceive the nature and the contour of the task to which we have committed our hands. Really? Well, I guess every department has its own way of doing things. No big deal. I'll explain everything once we're upstairs. Oh, by the way, you didn't get to meet the whole team last time, did you? Only a new girl. This time, that dude, Mr. Bamboo-Headed Kim's also here, so... Huh? He's okay now? Sure he is. I'm sure he is. You'll be surprised once you see just how okay he is. The last time you said he was still under treatment. To be precise, I believe Miss Ang Du stated that his mind is yet to regain its former tranquility. That? You'll get it once you see him. I feel like we'll just end up having the same conversation twice if I say anything about it now. He's got an F-worst ego. Calling it now. You have arrived. It's blinding. It's so bright. The midday sun is pouring in like crazy. Yet The warm tickle of the sunbeam is rather agreeable. No, this is not sunlight, because unlike this, there is more to the sunshine than its warmth. And what exactly is this light? Why is this thing out again? It's bright enough to fry my eyeballs! Apologies, Lady Ezra. I have yet to be accustomed to this machine. This is my first time laying a hand on the complicated workings of such a contraption. It activated of its own accord, and I have yet to discover the method by which it may be silenced. That's why I told you to leave it on. Fiddling with things you don't understand usually ends with something, or you, broken. Nothing good comes of it, I tell you. But Mentor, Lady Moses has instructed me that in every moment and event, clues are hidden under the veil of one's surroundings and must be examined with care. Yes, that only works if you're savvy about the knack. Hang on, did you just say Mentor? Ah, had not yet been afforded a proper opportunity to introduce him to you. This here is the esteemed leader of the Blade Lineage, who is all but a master under whom I have apprenticed. Do you really have to dress up like that? I told you I only took on the role because there wasn't anyone else around to take the job. Switch, where's the switch? Aha, gotcha! Is he okay? She looks pretty adorable like that. Goodness. Known as Babu-headed Kim. Oh, that's him? Then what's the other guy? Yes, that's me. I guess I should say pleased to meet you, folks. Who's wearing the bamboo hat? Okay, so more often than not, first impressions are prone to change. The bamboo-headed Kim I remember was a man who drowned in his own fathoms, blaming himself for his powerlessness with a listless, heavy voice. That, however, had been while he was distorted and sunken into himself, so I figured his original personality might be somewhat different. But this is not just somewhat. His personality isn't even at the same ballpark as my expectations. You're telling me this guy here is Bamboo-headed Kim? Yeah, we double-checked with Ezra, and she said he really is the same guy. Okay, now he kind of looks a bit more the part. Whoa, that far in your head's not hot at all? Fascinating stuff. Can you... Okay, can we check again, just in case? I really can't wrap my head around the fact that this is the same sullen, serious man who we'd fought. Just look at what he's doing. He's rubbing my face over like he's checking out some kind of mantelpiece ornament. Lots of ticking and talking going on. That's supposed to sound like them talking to you folks? That's supposed to sound like them talking to you folks, huh? Further confirmation would be redundant, Dante. This individual is conclusively identical to the one designated as Bamboo-headed Kid. I've got no idea what you folks are so suspicious about. I also wouldn't know either. I have yet to get around to really playing Library Verena. And dude, just what exactly have you been telling people about out there about me? They're all staring like they've seen a ghost. She kind of looks like Yukiko Amagi. If Yukiko Amagi wasn't wearing red, of course. It's supposed because the long black hair, the red hairband, though. Nade. I told them that you are a gallant and formidable warrior, Mentor. But they don't look like they've heard the most flattering things about me. There, don't you hear the faint undercurrent of disappointment in the ticking? I also told them that you remain a few words, but with much affection for the followers under your command. Dude. Yes, Mentor? That's a complete and utter lie. Made a few words is definitely not something you can say about a guy who's as talkative as me, don't you think? You just spoke to a falsehood, although your conduct is rather shallow and perhaps less refined for a leader of an organization. You're much more reserved and taciturn when conversing with those unfamiliar to you, are you not? Oh, I get it! She meant he's made a few words compared to her! Nice. No matter who one may be, one is bound to inspire either approval or disapproval from those around him. So, I refrain from mentioning any truths that might invite the latter. To even hint at anything that might tarnish the reputation of my master would not be unlike spitting on his name, mine by extension. I simply had no reason to put on airs in front of my own folks. In any case, oh, so you can't see anything if I block this part. Do tell, how many fingers am I holding up? Those are not my eyes, you know. Your own folks, huh? Then you've already accepted that you now belong to Limbus Company. Why didst thou not pay a visit to the LCE? Really, when one's mind is plagued by the absence of tranquility, venturing forth into the open air and touchable field of grass cleareth the storm of the heart. An asset of the company is expected to act in the company's interest. Yet, for whatever reason, I didn't see you fighting on the field of battle during Operation Spiderpire. You'll have to account for your absence of the mission. Otis addressed Kim as though she were conducting a formal investigation, every word flat and hard. It was obvious she was not about to let her guard down anytime soon. What mission? Oh, that one. Kim finally seemed inclined to assume a more serious disposition. He stopped peering into my face and turned toward Otis, although his hand was still on my head. Alright, clearly there's some disconnect in expectations here. Listen here, you. I'm really not all that about hard, bothersome work. Get what I mean? The real disconnect is between his stoic expression and the words coming out of his mouth. What? So let's talk about the kind of fellow I am. Meet the resident layabout who's forced to do his job, with round two, I might add. Only when he's got absolutely no other choice. I'm really not some big shot. Some big shot iron dude's apparently been promoting me as, folks. And I'd very much like to stop getting roped into stuff that keeps putting my life on the line. Fine, then why did you join the LCD in the first place if you'd rather be unemployed? No, never mind. They probably force you to stay. You catch on quick. First they spout this nonsense about distortions and all, and Force hired me, calling me a company-owned resource or whatever. The other day they were again on about, what's its name? Golden Bow? Yes, they invited me on a tour to another department to listen in on some important presentation. And I accepted. I thought it'd be a fine opportunity to broaden my perspective. I do, dear. There are times when your commitment to duties shines brighter than the sun. I find that attitude so dazzling that I have to squint when I'm looking at you. Who knows? Maybe that's why I'm wearing this bamboo hat, to shade my eyes from your utter brilliance. Do you mean to say that you're in need of a shield to protect your eyes? The look on his face. Lady Ezra might submit a request for a pair of sunglasses from a mentor, only if it's not too much of an imposition on the budget, that is. That right there, that's what I keep telling you not to do. You can't just say yes to every silly thing he says and turn it into a supply request. Small expenses add up to a lot, you know. You gotta save up everything you can in the piggy bank while you still can. You'll end up broke. I just looked exasperated. Is there truly no room for reconsideration? No means no. Pray make the purchase for me. I shall cover the cost myself. No, kid. Wait, what? My poor mentor is in a state of great discomfort, yet I possess neither the wisdom nor the knowledge to navigate the silver tongue of merchants in the maze of stalls to locate the very best item, so I must beg this favor of you. You give me a frickin' headache, girl! I'm aware that you and yours are no strangers to such dealings. There's no one else I could trust to complete such a procurement with the swiftness of the wind. You know what? Never mind what I said. I'll just get you what you want. Why not just hand him his bamboo hat back? You hurt the gentle lady, Mentor. Your suffering shall be alleviated. Right. She's a lot pushy than Yukiko. My apologies for interrupting you in mid-conversation. Pray continue. Very pushy! You have reached the part where they invited you to tour another department. As sooner Angie's words left her lips than her eyes glinted with something I couldn't really put my finger on. But it was a strange intensity that sent a chill down my spine. Yes. That day I was just gonna relax here and watch some TV. Well, good on you for showing up to work today, I guess. Let's say there's a debt to be repaid. At least you understand that we are indeed indebted to the company. Yeah, I suppose I do. Kim's gaze lingered on Angdu's prosthetic arms as he answered. Oh, Miss Angdu, your arms. Only after following Kim's gaze did Sinclair seem to notice Angdu's brand new prosthetic arms. The last time we saw her, Angdu had lost both her arms, and I remember Ezra asking her to sit tight and choose what type of prostheses she wanted. Those arms are probably it. It's not just the arms, even her clothes are different now, and that sword. I had these arms fitted to do as soon as the operation was concluded. The gracious host and one of the LCD's teams had prepared them in advance. With evident satisfaction, Angdu held up her dark metallic wrists as if to showcase them. Components fixed along her arm clicked and rattled, folding for a moment before neatly folding back into place. Oh, such graceful smoothness! Went to machine articulation. Such graceful smoothness wed to machine articulation. 'Tis as though I am beholding the marvelous prosthesis of the illustrious Siegfried himself. Yep, the showcase would have gone lackluster without that trademark reaction. Those are strikingly similar to Schwarz's Industries N7 lineup, but I thought that model was discontinued. Nah, not theirs. It's one of the prototypes developed by LCD's Phenomena Deciphering team. They put him on her for trial. Deciphering phenomenon, probably distortions, I wager. So I wonder why they would develop prostheses. Doubt you'll find another like them. They're based on technology spun from distortions. Okay, that would explain it. Oh, I see. For a brief moment, Sinclair's eyes lit up as if he had a glimpse of something that brought him back to memory. And just as quickly, he fell silent. Whatever he'd wanted to say next, catching in his chest. Does something trouble you, Master Sinclair? It wasn't hard to understand what struck the tender memory for Sinclair, why he cast a shadow over his face. But sorry, just reminded me of something from a long time ago. My dad used to work with prosthetics before he passed away. I thought this was the exact same model I saw back then. It appears I lacked tact. These arms have stored a painful memory within you. For that, I apologize. It's alright. I'm fine now. Sinclair's voice still carried a faint tremor. Beneath it, there was a firmness that had not been there before. It really had grown a great deal. You can thank yours truly for picking the sword. I was there with her. I did inform Lady Ezra that any blade that could serve as a weapon would suffice, but she insisted on browsing the goods. I dare say I was given the opportunity to lay my eyes on every type of sword I could ever hope to see in this life. Walking through the workshop street that day. Oh please, girl! Oh please, girl! We walked for just 4 hours. That's nothing. While everyone was distracted taking in Angie's new outfit equipment, Kim had quietly slipped away from the crowd and crouched down in a corner. He was rummaging through things scattered on the floor, picking them up. Is he pocketing them? Anyway, what is this place supposed to be? What are all these things? Well, they appear to be photos, and this seems to be a photography studio. It's basically a wreck now, but there are strobes there are strobes in that cloth backdrop over there. It was a photo studio? Pretty sure it was! Oh, that could explain why there's so many photos stuck around the place. Probably. This thing definitely looks like a camera, at least. Sinclair picked up a small cylindrical object and turned it over in his hands, studying it with curiosity. What do you suppose this is? A battery, maybe? Ah, there's some kind of strip inside. Let me just pull it out. No, that's... Otis shouted a sharp warning at Sinclair as if she realized something. Merso's hand shot up before she could even finish, clasping over Sinclair's wrist before the strip could be pulled out. What? What did I do? Exposure to sunlight damages these objects. I already pulled a little bit out, though. It can be rewound. Carefully rotate the ridge section on the cylinder. I'm currently blocking the sunlight from reaching the exposed section. Damages of no concern. Oh, okay. You mean this one, right? This is the part that rotates? Yep, it went back in. With a quiet nod, Merceau took the object from Sinclair's hand. Seems to be a film roll. There's something written on the outside. Experiment number 4? It appears to be a compact roll for a film camera. Seem to have handled one before. Yes. Merceau's answer came without any further explanation, but the way he adjusted the camera on the table certainly didn't look like that of a first-timer. I once received a report containing photographs taken on film cameras during the war. Film rolls used by N-Corp are particularly difficult to falsify. They're often used to collect intelligence during secret operations. The film fixes light directly onto the medium, from what I've heard. A peculiar expression flashed across Ezra's face as she regarded Otis. Perhaps it was the mention of war that caught her attention. Anyway, we've managed to regroup in one piece. Let's come up with a plan to deal with these distortions, guys. Where should we begin? Then, in the next breath, she returned to her usual bubbly self and steered the conversation away from the subject. Both Ezra and I, we're both still trying to be free of the misconception we inflicted on ourselves. For all her unfailingly perky disposition, Ezra too may be carrying traumatic memories every bit as devastating as Gregor's. Does there yet remain aught deserving illumination? Huh? Yeah. Wait. You're right. Haven't we cleaned up the distortion already? Couldn't feel any more traces of distortions nearby. It didn't seem like any of the other Sinner teams elsewhere were actively engaged in battle at the moment either. Dante is asking whether the distortion suppression has not in fact already been concluded. Oh, not yet. These people we fought just now, they only got caught up in the distortion. They didn't actually distort themselves. We haven't even gotten close to the distortion's inflection point yet. Inflection point? Anywho, finding an inflection point without the team leader around is gonna take some time. Maybe it won't be too bad with your help. Ezra swept her eyes around the room with a look of frustration, as though she had just been handed a puzzle box with half the pieces missing. By inflection point, are you referring to the point on a graph in which the directionality of its curvature changes? Calling to mind the present context, it may less be a mathematical term and more specialized polyseme, referring to the point at which distortion occurs, the motive, intent, or indeed the point in which inflection of the mind occurs. Yep, that's about right. That's the kind of inflection point I was talking about. So in our department, we use that term to mean the source of a distortion, the inflector or cause behind it. Stuff like that. So it's like a stressor or trigger. You know, distortion's hard to treat if you don't know the core cause. Treat the symptoms you see on the surface all you like, but if you never find the root cause, the distortions never getting solved. Though I guess you guys never really had to look for that kind of stuff, huh? Your boss clock opens a door into their fathoms or whatever, right? You mean Dungeon of the Fathoms? Yep, that's the one. from where we're standing, distortions are really high maintenance, really high maintenance, time-consuming headaches. It's one thing to somehow manage to locate the inflection point, but carrying it is another thing. You guys could just march straight into someone's heart, knock the snot out of it and everything in there, and then, ta-da! Patient ready for discharge. That's how it works, right? Not gonna lie, I was so jealous when I heard about it. Almost bit my sleeve off. Verily, I had thought your team would set about resolving distortions once the foe was vanquished. As we are wont to do. Was that not so? Of course not. Why would anyone come to us with a distortion suppression request if it were that simple in the first place? But yeah, most of the time, peeps try brute force approaches to it first, and when things go south, they send a request to the company or to our detective's office. That means that the client this time must have been... Bingo! Apparently the residents of Butter Street had all chipped into the commission on all kinds of agencies like the Sway and the Combat Specialized Fixer offices. But none of them could actually do things right. The job got passed on to us. Meaning the distortion phenomenon related to this kind of photograph is still occurring unchecked somewhere on the streets. Exactly! That's why we gotta find something. Anything that might count as a clue. Okay, so I'm betting the person who distorted, they're the person who owns this studio. And the experiment number 4, they're conducting experiments utilizing the sort of powers or abilities they have as a distortion. As they're gazed down at the people lying on the floor with a complicated expression. Neat ash gray suits, the logo on the collar of their uniform, and briefcases. Hey, isn't that N-Corp's logo? Come to think of it, wasn't Merso... was once employed by N-Corp. I used to work with those people. Yeah, he did mention that he used to work at N-Corp. Maybe he can offer some insight. Do you know who these guys are, Merso? Yes, manager. These are N-Corp Class 2 staff members. Given the camera briefcases in their possession, they are likely members of the pinframe team of Service de Clos. De Clos? Merso recited the information as though he were pulling it from a file he had already sorted and placed in the back of the shelf in his mind. I must have one heck of a mind palace. Okay, pinframe team, huh? Anything you can tell us about them? Yes. It is one of N-Corp's many field departments related to information gathering and processing. Their primary duties include the handling of N-Corp's internal information, analysis of N-Corp's internal intelligence, the sorting and arrangement of N-Corp's internal information, and intersector. That'd be enough. Oh, is he a talking encyclopedia or something? Yeah, another thing to be jealous of. Think it'll be okay if we borrow him sometimes? Might be an issue for us if he just went and borrowed our team's encyclopedia. Looks like everyone agrees that he's an encyclopedia. Anyway, your encyclopedia's right. They're from N-Corp's pinframe team. I've seen them a few times before in N-Corp's nest. But why would people already busy enough dealing with nest affairs come all the way out to a shabby backstreet like this? Got any guesses? I'm unable to determine that. The possible range of connection between the two pieces of information is exceedingly broad. Listing every relevant reason as to why they may have come here would require a considerable amount of time. Therefore, I will not present a determinative answer to that question. As they're staring holes into me with an unspoken, is this dude always like this? Wouldn't pull any answers from me, you know. Because aside from combat situation, I've still got no way to figure out what's going on in his head. Okay then, Mirso, maybe this will be easier to answer. From an objective point of view, that was when I noticed something I'd never imagined would happen. Mirso's eyes widened, his gaze fixing with such force that I could almost feel the faint tremor in it. A leveling stare that came with... Holy crap, his expression changed! There's no such thing as an objective point of view, manager. A clipped tone and a look almost bordering on rebuke. A given judgment may seem infinitely close to objectivity, but ultimately, all things are subjective without exception. I fell silent for a moment, lost in thought. Part of it was because Mariso's reaction had caught me off guard, but I also wondered whether this response might be connected to why he would always refuse to make judgments for himself. And if this has something to do with his turn, which I know is just around the corner, got it. Then tell me 3 subjective reasons you think are most likely for why these people had to come all the way into the back streets. Need to understand who he actually is as much as I can. Because I'll never know when I'll get another chance to really get to know him if I brush this off with a simple, "Oh, I see, my bad," as usual. Yes, manager. I presume that their mission was one or all of the following: retrieval of a video recording or recordings in violation of N-Corp's taboo, prompt elimination of the violator, contact with an informant in the back streets collaborating with N-Corp's nest, or identification and arrest of a wanted individual or individuals designated by the nest. That's 4. He asked for 3. Taboo? You mean these people could be taboo hunters? Nah, no way. They don't send out taboo hunts for every single violation, you know. Like, beings usually leave minor taboo violations to be handled by subcontracted fixer officers or employees of the department in charge. I'd say these guys here are N-Corp staff. Miss Aingdu, what are you looking at? What are you looking for in their pockets? I'm looking through their belongings. For lightning clues yet be hidden in their sleeve or the fold of their garments. Lady Moses has been gifted with the art of discerning the truth from what lies before her with a single glance. And with but a single glance, yet my eyes are foreign to such a feat. Let me take a look too. This is an employee card, and okay, this one's a wallet. So let's put that back. We don't want to be robbers. Aha! This might be it. It's an order missive. Ezra pulled a sheet of paper out from an N-Corp staff's coat and read its contents aloud. Work details: elimination of an individual of a Category 3 taboo violation. Address: Butter Street. This is the place. Which means all of this might be pointing to something. Whoever used to work at the studio, the distortion phenomenon might be connected. It's probably the same person. Yeah, now that you mention it, when that whole pop and change thing happened, it did kind of feel like a camera flash. Alright, let's start by combing through this place. Let me know if you find anything suspicious. Oh, at long last! Hath the hour arrived for my debut as a detective, forsooth! Don Quixote must have been miffed for not getting to play detective back in T-Corp. No idea where she might have been, where she'd been keeping them, but she immediately pulled out the detective props that had been given to Rodeo, Yoshi, and Honglu back then. Barely, I had foreseen that the day would come. Fortunately, Otis wasted no time putting an end to Don Quixote's badly timed shenanigan. Sharp dressing down from her was enough to make her dejected chivalric adventure stuff the costume away. At least let her wear the deerstalker cap. I think that's what it's called. You know, that cap that Sherlock Holmes is often depicted wearing. Okay, then we should get moving too. Ah, finally, I'm getting somewhere. I'll have to make do with what I have.
대사. 화점에 두지.
Fortunately, those 3 alone should be enough.
불청객을 맞이할 시간인가 보군요.
횃대에서 내려 전장으로.
We spent a long while rifling through the photo studio with the LCD team, but no one found any decisive evidence. There sure are a lot of photos around, but almost all of them are just pictures of buildings, nothing much to tell from that. Aside from the canister containing the film roll Sinclair picked up, there are no remaining items here that can count as a proper clue, Executive Manager. I've confirmed that the rest are all empty plastic containers. It's probably best to check the contents of the film roll directly. Yes, Executive Manager. I'll find a way to develop the film. Did you guys find any sort of photo development room or equipment nearby? Let's search a little more before we see what's in that film roll. Mentor, what do you make of this object? For the 8th time I do, I have no idea. If I had wits bright enough to understand all that lies before me with a single glance like that team leader, I would have passed the royal examinations long ago and secured myself a lucrative position as a court official. But Mentor, how did you already pass the royal? Once swung, a sword does not retrace its arc, Angdu. So it is with life. There's no undoing what has already been cut. Thus, it is unnecessary to dwell on what can no longer be undone. There's no after for what has been slashed away. Not for you, Mentor. Ought you not dwell on what can no longer be undone? I misspoke. I did not mean it that way, Angdu. I really meant to say that I do not wish to recall my past. I am aware. You have told me as much since long ago, whenever you were placed in a position to retrace the past. Mostly at the eateries where you filled your belly on unpaid tabs, and each time you brought down the stone wall before a house by your own erring hand. Those are exactly the kinds of things you should never forget. Oh, my belly! I feel stabbing pain in my belly! This spot, the very wound you once gave me afflicts me yet. The one from when you thought you were only poking me with a scabbard, yet by some cruel turn it was your sword that ran me through. Mentor, you said it was completely healed and that I need not concern myself with it. Those very same words have been repeated at least 80 times. But it still aches every now and then, chiefly when I hear your sharp, cutting words that I really don't want to hear. Ah, is that so? Angry suddenly pulled out a sheet of paper and began furiously writing something down. What's this? I've written down the words that I have just said. If hearing my sharp, cunning words afflicts you so, perhaps reading them instead would cause no suffering. Kim's face began to contort like a wet dish towel being wrung dry. I really can't believe this is the same mentor Angdu follows so devotedly. Where's all that dignity and forbearance Angdu said he had? Angdu, there's a matter I must ask thee. Apparently I wasn't the only one who felt that way about him. Pray, speak freely. This may perhaps be a discourteous inquiry, but, I too, when speaking to the others of those whom I serve, often ornament my words with the laudation of an acceptable degree, and yet... I understand your concern, Lady Don Quixote. I suppose this is your first time seeing Mentor with his shoulders so embraced and his bearing so loose. In truth, when I first beheld him, I also wondered whether such a man could truly be a leader worth placing my faith in. However, upon my honor, I assure you that I have never once uttered a falsehood when I spoke of him to you. I respect with the blades of my own and foes alike my determination to safeguard what must be protected, even should my arms be torn apart. All these are undoubtedly the teachings that my mentor has imparted unto me. Truly? Why, if fortune should grant the opportunity, you may witness Mentor's true self yourselves someday. That is to say, if we let ourselves be carried by the currents of the river, to arrive at such a chance. Angdu gave her prosthetic arm a casual sweep, smiling sincerely as though she truly believed every word she said. Then, leaning closer to Don Quixote, she whispered, "Besides, unless I speak with this feigned stern ignorance, there will be no end to his digging in his heels. I'd ask for your trust for all is aimed at his benefit. Forsooth, thou too hast been burdened with the trials of serving your superior." So that's what it was. I get it now. Just as I witnessed the budding of its peculiar bond of commiseration and camaraderie between our chivalric friends, the door leading outside was flung open with a loud slam. Nice gauntlets. We have arrived at the target location. It appears that the advance party has already been defeated. Wait, who are these people? Didn't they say there was only a single violator? Oh crap. Looks like it's too late to talk our way out of this. Whatever excuses we came up with. No, boy, this is not gonna go well. The same thing happened last time. When I saw the N-Corp employees, I thought we had the wrong intel, and all of a sudden... A sudden flash blinded my vision white, as though I had stared straight into a burst of searing light, so intense and bright that it made my head swim. Yeah, there's the same pop, and, With my vision blinded, the only thing I could make out was Ezra's soft murmur, until even that came to a stop as her breathing hushed. What the heck? What the heck just happened? And what's with that back there? Kinda curious about that too. It didn't take long for me to realize what was happening. See it again doesn't exactly warm the heart, wouldn't you say, Yangdu? I think there's a cat over there too. Though S-Corp may indeed be passing through hard times, this ally was not quite so wretched in form, was it? Was it, Mentor? Is that right? Looks much the same to me. This place. Did we just get teleported to S-Corp? No, Dante, though it generates a considerable sense of verisimilitude. This is... I think... I know what this is. This is a presence. I haven't been able to detect it until just now. Somehow it was now surrounding us, saturating every corner of the space where we stood. Dreary stone walls, trees bent and coiled in grotesque forms, the sheen of the light, even the air we breathe. All of them point toward a single phenomenon. This is the depth of the fathoms. Fathoms made entirely out of distortion. There are completely different distortions where the N-Corp employees were just a moment ago. Executive manager. This is exactly it. This is what I was trying to explain. Whoa! That is freaky! Ezra pointed, the people in smart, neat suits had vanished, and in their place, figures clad in blood-stained dopo robes were approaching us with dragging, uneasy steps. Right, let's fight first and talk later. Ready, do. My blade is poised to strike, Lady Ezra. And, wait, where's the bamboo-hatted dude? I'm afraid he has already taken his leave. He said he had no desire to cross blades with the Trinokuns of S-Corp twice. Come on, man, not again! He's a repeat offender, that's for certain. Executive manager. Wherever Kim's gone off to, this definitely isn't the time to be asking trivial questions. Right, let's do what Ezra says and get ready for battle. On your orders, executive manager. Men, prepare for battle! In one head-splitting memory. Head-splitting, you say? How appropriate. Gain 1 bind next turn, gain current turn count divided by 4, clash power up. Gain 2 bleed for every stack. Max out gain +1 bleed count. Gain bind equal to stack. Yeah, this is what the S-Corp ID is based on. Let's see. To cover the eyes and not to be blind. These fabrics created using Q-Corp Singularity. Q-Corp. What the heck do they do again? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's the same wing that makes the glyphs used by the Heisho pack. Let's see, a fresh into many forms such as blindfolds and headbands and are commonly used throughout the East. It is not unusual to see fixers and employees of corporate entities in the East covering their heads and faces with these products. Fabrics serve the same function as sunglasses, visors, and combat prosthetic eyes found elsewhere in the city. They scan the target's information in real time, augment the wearer's vision, and provide tactical analysis. At times, it can also serve as a means of communication with distant allies. Not yet. Okay. Bowie!
지령에 따라
Oh, come on!
정리하겠습니다. 불결한
좋아. 지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
지령에 따라 참격.
Seriously?
운명적인 죽음일세. 미래를 과거와 같이.
1 down, 9 to go. Seems I made a bit of an error. I don't have anything to generate envy!
이 주변은 귀하에겐 해가 될 수 있으니 물러나시게.
Well, free hits are free hits, so...
날개를 펼치고 발톱을 걸어.
I'm guessing that didn't generate any sin resources for me.
살을 베어 뼈를 깎는다.
Almost sounded like he smacked him with a frying pan.
지령대로 움직일 뿐입니다.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't, but it kind of sounded like it. What level are they? 60? Best core fixer. There's probably going to be plenty. Ooh. Not quite. There you go.
그대는 어디까지 가고 있을지.
수행되었습니다.
운명적인 죽음일세.
혈염도 바로.
Yeah, good. She's finally getting some SP now. She probably could have used the self-healing from Wing Beat, but she probably needs SP more. Yeah, almost got enough for that. Oh. Yeah, sick of that.
발광, 차단. 무섭지.
검주먹 모드.
충족. 지령이 이끄는 대로.
대응 완료.
What the heck? Why does she keep losing clashes? I figured she'd have more reliable power than that. Yield my flesh to claim their bones. He doesn't have that much poise though.
이 땅과 만이 손끝이라도 되려는 자가 있다.
이게 심장이 저런저런 댕기.
육자 살을 베어내고
그래요. 그렇게 가만히 있어요. 상처는 고기는 맛없으니까.
시즌이어야 할
Well, he's toast. He's about to be vaporized.
이 땅과 만이 손끝이라도 되려는 자가
운명적인
있다.
죽음일세.
But not by the person I thought it was gonna be. That should be all of them. Surveying the area with measured alert, Angdu cast the blood from her sword with a few sharp flicks before sliding it back into its sheath. Ah, they're not changing back. Doesn't look like beating them up. The distorted ones reverts them immediately this time around. Perhaps a fortunate turn of events, in a way. Let us search for clues while time allows us. Right. You take that side, Angdu. I'll search here. Ezra and Angdu moved about as though they were used to this kind of situation, without even taking a moment to catch their breath at the battle. They began searching the space. For thee! Don Quixote was the first one to voice her doubt in the surreal, unfamiliar situation we found ourselves in. We battled distortions upon our arrival hither, yet never before have I beheld our surroundings change with so sudden a flash. Prithee, I cannot make sense of this situation. Could there render a detailed account of this distortion phenomenon? Apologies. It would appear I overlooked the briefing due to the urgency of this predicament. This is, according to the definition presented by Lady Moses, a location-type distortion. Oh. It's basically the whole space distorts, and since places and buildings can't move on their own, the distortion gets fixed at a certain space. As for this one, looks like the distortion's already progressed pretty far along. Middle stage, probably. They don't usually get this big, but this one here is covering almost an entire street. Then those people. They entered this space and they got caught up in it. And our job right now is to get to the bottom of the phenomenon. What exactly gets people caught up? What exactly gets people caught up, and what happens to them once they're in? What causes a location to distort, though? Of course, we can't really rule out the possibility of a powerful distortion that's squishy upon its environment. Oh, by that I mean when the distortion bleeds into the space around it and warps it. Oh man, I'm actually talking like our team leader. Rubbed off on me, I guess. Ezra continued with a sheepish giggle. In any case, we won't be able to suppress it or cure the distortion even if we whoop these guys' asses 100 times. We need more clues to help us locate the inflection points. Maybe we should examine these people over here too? With the call, Ezra directed our attention to rows of collapsed people all around, all of them clad in double robes. And these are... The glyph emblazoned upon their headbands. Chu speaks. Propulsion pursuit. Works them as Trunokuns, functionaries in charge of scouring and hunting runaway nobis. You hail from the homeland as we do. I'm surprised that you know of them. I could hardly fail to know, for I too was once enumerated among their quarry. Scientists and technicians were daily being dispossessed of their stations in S-Corp after all. So it's no idle tale. Scientists who ply their craft without fattening S-Corp's coffers are seized forthwith and made nobis the corporation. Indeed, I counted myself fortunate to have absconded with my friends before the brand of Nobi could be impressed upon us. Otherwise... Nobi, the wretched appellation conferred upon the people for the convenience of those in power. Vile practice and excuse of their power-mongering, nothing more. The so-called taboo hunters of S-Corp operate by much the same anatomy. Does the breach of taboo summon the hunter, or does the hunter first seize his prey to thereafter frame to capture with an invented transgression? If the powerful so desire to chase a man down, to take possession of his very being and keep him caged, they need only decree that he should bear the lot of an obi. Such is what S-Corp has become today. My mentor, too, is one of the victims of that accursed practice. Could these people have been sent out to capture your mentor, Yi Sang? Or me, perhaps, or none of us. You mean to say that they may be conceptual forms of Chinokuns generated by distortion? That is a plausible conjecture. You're getting nowhere with this clue hunting. The heavy sigh, Otis pressed her fingers against her brow as if her head were starting to pound in frustration. To delve further into the matter, it's necessary to determine why the S-Corp and its Chinokuns have appeared as the motif of this phenomenon. Considering the course of events we have seen so far, would it not stand to reason that the distortion stains all nearby things with memories most foul? The presence of Chinokuns suggests a possible correspondence to Yi Sang's memories. Conversely, however, the absence of T-Corp's time collectors weakens that hypothesis. In which case, the most plausible theory is that this particular distortion could have stemmed from Bamboo Head Kim or Angdu's memories. Or, for that matter, it could be stemming from the combination of those two and Yi Sang. Angdu furrowed her brow and fell into thought, as though she couldn't grasp the full picture of the problem. I've seen a few distortions that show trauma affects their surroundings. But this one, I'm not getting that pop of inspiration. Can't even guess at what this distortion wants either. The white flash of light suddenly drowned my vision again as Ezra clutched her head and cried out with annoyance. if only the team leader was here! Cracking this would have been a piece of cake! And we're back. So this is why I kept asking whether we'd seen anything bursting with a pop. And corp employees must have it rough too, getting dragged to this distortion like this. I mean, what else were we supposed to do? It was self-defense. They were about to attack us. I suppose finding the root cause and taking care of it would be the fastest way forward. Let's just do what we can for now. Okay, first we need to develop the film we found here. We'll head to the nearest darkroom and... actually, let's first drag that slippery hat-wearing Colt back here and get him talking about the Chinokuns. That's probably our best bet. Ah! Every time we take a job, that slacker just slips off without it telling anyone. There's one part of me watching Ezra stamp her feet in frustration. There's also carefully following Heathcliff's team through the other part of my vision. Oh, I think I can help with that. Have you located him? Have you located him? Huh? What? Boss Clock found something? Yep, I found where Bamboo-Headed Kim is right now.
이제 다음 시련만 넘어서면 본인 또한 감히 나리의
She needs head pats.
가족이 될 수 있겠군. 그렇게 된다면 본인은 더 이상 죽을 일도 외로울 일도 없을 테지.
I need more water. Ugh, man. Nice.
찾았냐?
군주가 어디서?
잠깐, 이번 임무는 내가 나갈게. 괜찮지?
어디서?
잠깐, 이번 임무는
There you
내가
go.
나갈게. 괜찮지?
화점에도
주인놈
주군께서 모이를 뿌리.
베어내겠습니다.
아, 잠시. 이것만 삼키고.
이 경로는 숨어들기 나쁘지 않군 그래.
Meanwhile, Heathcliff's team. Bloody hell, what's up with these gets? They show up out of nowhere. Actually, I know. Judging by their getup, they seem like escort fellas. And things are going so well. I could have talked it out with those fedora guys who were rummaging around the place earlier, you know. But no, you just had to go barking at them first. It saved us a whole lot of trouble if you hadn't, right? Oh, so it's my fault? These bosses look like they're decking stuff. This is our contract here, ain't it? They walked off with something important. We'd be the ones catching hell. That's about it. Not everyone's itching to swap hair coupons in. I just had to grab that identity, didn't I? That's about 9 hours with edge swap character bonds into the box the second they get the chance. Oh, fuck! How many blooded months are gonna milk that? Excuse me. What? You got a problem too, mate? No, not at all. Just wondering whether that gentleman over there is also one of our enemies. Is that the end of your troop performance? Shame, I was really enjoying watching you folks dance. I made a mistake at this place at the Peach Blossom Land of Legends. Had there been a cup of fine rice wine to go with it. Yeah, that's an enemy, alright. He has a name tag, though. I think it says, LCD. LCD or whatever! Who gives a toss? Am I supposed to put up with that without my boss having a dig at me? Oh dear. Such bold swings. Didn't know there was an encore to that performance. Ha! You slippery little Ross! Well, I do find the speech enough, but if you intend to play with me, you ought to be more aware of your surroundings. Hey, behind you, there's... Yeah, I took out all those dope-wearing people with just a single strike. I'd say that about covers the price of admittance for a troop circus, wouldn't you? Well then, I'll leave the rest to you folks. Wandering blades and Miram tales never linger on the stage for long, after all. Oi, where the hell do you think you're going? Ah, damn it. They're supposed to look like nooses. No, they're supposed to be nooses. They kind of look like it. Okay, now Ishmael. I expect you to actually win clashes this time. Can you do that? Oh, well, that's convenient. And of course, that's the first skill. Right. Holy crap, she could actually win clashes! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Seriously, what the heck is this bullshit? Okay, fine. starting to get that sinking feeling. Holy crap, she's actually winning clashes reliably! There you go. What the heck? That was unexpected. Using a skill or when using a skill of identical to the skill photographed, clash power -5. Penny nail. Gain 1 offense level down for every 2 bind. Gain bleed equal to stack. On tremor burst, gain bleed count equal to stack. Every transition. Turn and lose 1 stack. As soon as 0 stacks of this effect, it turns certain units and effects transform. Interesting.
Kinda looks like they're in a dark room. How'd she end up with that much karmic consequence? Ooh!
이건 예상 못했나 봐.
Come from behind victory.
대무릎 꿇는다. 저 해충들을 도려내라. 쪽방이 아닐 텐데.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Serpent Arm. Whoops.
길을 여는 넌 푸름을 틔울 수도 없겠구나.
Just let him rip. Hey, you missed one! It's all fine, I guess.
대무릎 꿇는다. 저 해충들을 도려내라.
So let me get this straight. Dude was here just a minute ago, and now nobody knows where he wandered off to?
Yeah, bloke just turned up out of nowhere, flopped his guns, and did a run it before I never could grab him. There's a lot of that a long listless sigh as though she was getting sick and tired of even complaining about Kim.
Lady Ezra, I cannot say your frustration is misplaced, yet I trust you're also aware that more often than not, Mentor's actions have carried a profound design. He has never left his post without purpose so far. No, I get it, okay? But come on, would it come to give us a heads up before he goes zooming off on his own again? It's not like we'd stop him. What are we gonna do? Tie him up? Lock him up in a closet? We don't do that in our team, right? Remember last time, we all thought he was being a good patient and sleeping off the recovery ward. But nope, when the LCE got infiltrated, he snuck out without telling anyone and came back like nothing happened. The team leader didn't even chew him out for that. Lady Ezra, that's... Oops, he wasn't supposed to mention that, was I? The reason he failed to participate in the operation was simply because the LCD was lax in supervising its personnel? Is that what you're suggesting? Lady Moses bade us hold our tongues for this very reason. She knew full well Mentor's intentions would be misunderstood in precisely such a manner. What part of this have I misunderstood? Did you not just disclose that the man deserted his post without authorization? That's the thing, he wasn't just wandering around. He was outside, all alone, taking down the ring out of mannequins who'd locked down the elevator that leads into the LCE department. Yes, I like he was dealing with the strongest enemy out there, but the recovery ward didn't have an emergency alarm, and nobody from the department was there to warn him either. He somehow just caught on and did the job himself. Huh. Heard it's all thanks to him that the facility's team managed to get the comms back up and contact that LCE chief dude way faster. And that helped the LCA to actually deploy. It would have been delayed for another hour or two if he hadn't stepped in, apparently. And he went fighting even though he still wasn't fully recovered, so he came back looking like he'd been processed through a meat grinder. So yeah, he did end up staying in bed like a good patient, in a lot of pain. Ahem, and the soldier is not entirely deserving of reproach. Nope, he's a less talky, more doing type, I guess. Anyway, we were all stuck inside the building back then during the incident, so fine, I suppose there was nothing helping it. Today, though, never mind. It's always like this with him. He always slips away, pops back in, saying it's done. My point is, what happens if one day one of those solo missions doesn't go his way and he just drops down to the street somewhere? How are we supposed to help him then? Actually, how does he even know what's supposed to be done in the first place when nobody gave him any instructions? Oh, well, Scott's been a lot of his gut feeling in it. Gut feeling? Look, I only saw that bloke for a bit, so I can't say I've got it all figured out yet. I don't know I'm Boston, but he didn't strike me as a close sod who doesn't know where he's stepping. Heathcliff scratched at his chin but kept talking as though he were stating an obvious fact. Today's proof enough. He's not one of us. Cloggett couldn't have reached him from that far and sent him to back us up. So no, he just happened to run into us just when we were about to go into battle, isn't it? Then could be bloke got some stupidly sharp head on him and piece things together. Could be that. I've got these moments, but I've got these moments when I get a flash of that gut feeling, however you want to call it. My boss man, Matthew, said he could hear that kind of shite too. Said, I could hear them gears turning, or I think I hear rats skirt about. He did things you couldn't make heads or tails of. Listen, there's this one time when we were expecting a life and death fight. Matthew says he can hear them gears turning. Walks in a random pub, starts throwing back drinks like he lost his bloody mind. That does sound like someone who's lost his bloody mind. Back when I was on the ship, some sailors used to drink the barrel dry before battling whales to blunt their fear. Let us stumble around on the deck and fall overboard. Yeah, boss could knock it back like a whale. So the point is, getting plastered right before it, turf war's not what most safe people call a good idea. That's all cross we went stomping after him. And guess what? Turns out that pub was a secret hideout when the opposing syndicate was holed up. They were crowding around the gaffer, running their mouths about how they'll kill him and putting an end to the dead rabbits. That's when we came storming in and had them surrounded instead. Not a single one got away. We put to bloody every last bastard. Boss knew he'd play out that way. Sorry, but this really sounds like a Barstool brag, like Barstool brag to me. You sure that wasn't just a coincidence? I should think it was no mere coincidence. I mean, he did kind of lead them to a dark room. If you're saying as much, then sure this would be but one among many such coincidences. Is that not so? Yeah, every time Matthew pulled one of those stunts, it ended up growing bigger. Wouldn't have kept working so neatly if it was just a coincidence. It is likely what is often referred to as, indeed, an instinctive sense or experience-based precognition. More accurately, an unconscious process by which our information accumulated in the subconscious is sorted and converted into sensible conclusions. There have been some extremely rare cases in which Heathcliff has demonstrated the ability to arrive at coherent conclusions that surprise even Faust. In further analysis, it would appear that he was employing a mechanism similar to a sixth sense, as some call it.
Is that a compliment or you took the piss out of me?
Bit of both! Though my mentor does not see fit to explain each step he takes. When all is past, I often find that no footfall of his was taken in vain. I would ask of you, grant him but a little time and wait. Keep waiting, and the shape of his intent may yet become clearer. But I confess, I have also been concerned about him of late. His recent silence is far heavier than what I have noticed in the past. To wait!
Don Quixote began, hesitated, then stopped herself from saying more. She only gave a quiet nod.
Yeah, okay, I suppose a team leader has her own reasons for letting him be. That said, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Let us return to the task at hand, do what we can for now. Fine, fine.
As the others quieted down, I finally had room to notice the place we found ourselves in. It wasn't a single ray of light, just a deep red hue pressing in from every side. I can't believe we've been chatting away in the dark this whole time, fellas. Red lights aren't helping us at all, especially with my age and eyes.
Oh, are you looking for the light switch? It's right here.
Right then. Don't turn on the light. I heard Mirceau's clipped warning, his voice coming from a corner I didn't expect to find.
Mirceau, where are you?
Ah, there he is. That corner. Is he washing something? I'm developing the film roll manager. Exposure to light might ruin the entire roll. Please exercise caution. So he'd been doing his own thing. That explained why he was quiet all along. Huh, didn't think you'd know how to print photographs, pal. What's that for, anyway? Expressed the wish to have the film developed manager. I'm carrying out that instruction. I see. The photo studio first in our darkroom. This may be no more than a conjecture, but it would not be unreasonable to suppose that the axis of this distortion rests upon a photographer. The film serial numbers either match those found in the photo studio or deviate by only a single digit. It is certain that this darkroom is connected to the studio in some way.
The images bear a striking semblance to these photographs. I also believe this building and that photo studio share a strong connection.
Now, where'd you get these photos?
I brought some from the photo studio. I cannot name the locations in the picture with certainty, yet they all appear to have been taken at various places in Incorp's district. Or in Incorp's district, buildings mostly. Hey, wait! I know what these are! People take pictures like these when supplying stuff to that department store.
Correct. The photos must have been taken by a docugrapher. Merceau chimed in, holding up an odd cylindrical container in his hand this time. He gave the container a shake every now and then with a measured rhythm. Whatever he was doing seemed to be part of the process of developing the film. Film rolls are hardly affordable for the average resident in N-Corp. In most cases, taking photographs is done as part of professional duties. There are approximately 21 occupations in District 14 that utilize photography. However, only a single profession involves routinely photographing specific buildings, adhering to fixed standards that can be observed in these pictures. And these docugraphers you mentioned, are the people entrusted with that job? Yes, they photograph the information to be reported to canned experience. Huh.
Docugrapher, how could a person with such a decently lucrative profession fall into distortion? Decent job, maybe, but how do we know that they're a decent person?
Might have something to do with that talking to the background, although I'm not sure if that's part of the soundtrack or not. As he replied with a clear-cut answer after only a brief pause.
What makes you say that? The photo studio we were at didn't have any dark rooms, right? No, it didn't. My team leader said that there are other ways of processing film rolls, but in N-Corp, you have to go to a darkroom to develop and then print them.
Correct. Film rolls are usually immersed in a developer's solution to be processed.
Which is why photo studios have these darkrooms equipped with red safe lights right next to them. But this place, it's pretty far from that photo studio. Huh. Yeah, now that you mention it. Check out these windows. They're only covered by newspapers, all messy-like. If you consider how sensitive film rolls are to light, it's really super suspicious that this darkroom doesn't have any proper blackout panels. And you know film rolls can cost a fortune some places in the city, right? Where the right mind would print photos in a room patched up with yesterday's newspaper? Oh. This probably isn't even a legit darkroom. Someone just hauled in the bare minimum tools needed to develop film and threw them together in a hurry. Someone who didn't want to be seen printing photos. People don't usually avoid scrutiny unless they're doing something not so decent. If that's the case, then I can see why they might have distorted. Right?
Manager. Rousseau came to my side quietly, still giving the strange cylinder the occasional shake. I have a request regarding your instruction to develop this film roll. What is it? Please ensure that the lights in this room is not turned on until development is complete. Aren't we already doing that? Yes, however, engaging battle opens the door to uncontrollable variables. This is why I have judged it necessary to make a separate request. Battle? There's no need for concern. I am capable of participating in combat while maintaining the development process. Wait, can you slow down?
Battle, you say? Surely it must be cause for you to believe so.
At the photo studio, reinforcements arrived exactly 11 minutes and 34 seconds after N-Corp's pinframe team staff were defeated. Deductions based on the events thus far make it clear that the photo studio and this darkroom share some kind of connection. Furthermore, Senator Heathcliff, Senator Hoglu, and Senator Gregor have battled N-Corp's pinframe team in this very location. I hear footsteps rushing up the staircase. It's approaching closer and closer. I have a feeling I know what Marisol is getting at, but I can't ask anyway. Meaning, the initial events is finished. The process is now halfway to the completion of the second agitation. This indicates that 11 minutes and 30 seconds have elapsed since the start of development. Battle is imminent. Please withdraw to a safe position, Manager. Rousseau, you should have warned us way earlier! Understood, Manager. I'll follow that instruction going forward.
완벽하게 수행되었지 않은가? 하지만 아직 기약은 없구려.
This one doesn't have a battle. That's odd.
여전히 난 아무것도 인가?
Oh. Well, that would explain why.
Something sits ill with me.
Amid the sprawl of S-Corp's backstreets destroyed with the flash, Angdu had her gaze fixed somewhere high overhead. At the end of her gaze, are those photographs? A long line stretched across the open air, photographs hanging from it like laundry clipped to a clothesline.
Let's see. I mistook it for a warding rope at first and gave it little attention. But upon closer look, I saw those pictures hanging from the line. Perhaps they had been strung within the darkroom and remained thus when the distortion took hold. Bizarre. Observation of unaffected elements of the space occupied by a location-type distortion is most irregular. Indeed, the data we report from the studio have already changed into images of various sites of S-Corp. Yet these alone remain as they were.
Let's take them down and check them ourselves. Just as I was wondering if the line was perhaps too high for me to reach, Rousseau stepped forward and plucked a few photos off it. In the instant he brought them to me, we heard another pop, and again a bright white flash blinded my vision for a moment. God grief, this distortion likes to change its mind, huh? It keeps switching between S-Corp and N-Corp. This feels like getting caught in a flashbang detonation. My whole body tenses up, then goes slack right after. The other sinners were busy grumbling about the distortion at sudden jumps, except for Marisol, who stood right in front of me with the photos still held out in his hand. Oh, he didn't drop them. No. He gave his usual short answer, then returned his attention to the cylinder he had been shaking. He took the film out of the container and flicked the liquid off it with clean, controlled motions. Is the processing finally done? Wait, back here with the lights on now. Is it okay to take the film out? Yes, exposure to light will not damage the film once development is complete. And the image is fixed. There is no cause for concern. That's a relief. I couldn't say I followed all the technical details, but no cause for concern was all I needed to hear. Sighing relief, I held up the photographs so I could take a proper look. So, see anything on here, on there, Manager Bud? There are people in them. Obviously, those are scientists. That one's upside down. People in the photographs all look different from one another. The fact that that person's face is shown so clearly makes me think that they're going to be significant. And I feel like that the same thing might be true of these three. If I had to pick one similarity between them, though, they all looked cold and indifferent. Yeah, that's the city. Yeah, it's the city, right? Ordinary folks you'd see anywhere. These aren't like the photos we picked up at the studio earlier. Are these the kind of photographs they use to make canned experiences? What was that? The studio around us seemed to ripple just now. I was about to ask Faust if she'd also felt the strange sensation, but it faded away soon enough. Perhaps it's nothing serious. Maybe it's just a spell of random vertigo? Is it even possible to get dizzy when I've got a clock for a head? No. Mirso must have noticed that I was out of sorts for a moment because he seemed to pause on purpose before answering my question. No? I thought you said Dr. prefers to take these photos to put into canned experiences. Sisyphe. Interesting. Raw ingredients for canned experience are handled exclusively by the grain of magazine Sisyphe. There's no method for external parties to access them. Sisyphe... what? Oh, I think I've heard of it. Canned experiences, right? They're in high demand in other districts too, but the only brand stamped on them is grain of magazine Sisyphe. Same name every time. I remember some of my classmates bragging about trying them whenever exam weeks came around. Never had one myself, though. I can't really explain it, but something about them just feels kind of wrong. It's that popular, huh? The unprocessed-based content of canned experience, known as Experience Better, is supplied to reprocessing factories where Dr. Griffiths fine-tune the experience's details. Photographs are primarily used for that purpose. Oh, Experience Batter. My bad. Again, fine-tune experience. An easier example for understanding would be to consider why Dr. prefers take pictures of subjects such as buildings. A purchaser may wish to experience living in a luxurious building that they could never afford. Another may wish to vent out impulses of violence by experiencing the burning of an expensive property. Demand for haute couture kit experience is increasing by day. So that's why the photos from earlier were all fancy buildings. Yes, Manager. Conversely, information concerning ordinary experience that can be easily encountered in reality is in low demand. Then why photograph these residents at all? Perhaps these were not images harvested for their commodity value, but pure photography in and of itself. Maybe they have been captured for a desire to seize a vanishing instant through a lens. There are people who take photographs knowing that it would cost an exorbitant sum. I have seen some before. Staggering amount of money just to take a single photo. That is, if they could even manage to find a photographer who'd take the risk and help take the picture. I'm not so crass as to put a price on sentiment and nostalgia. Spending this much money on films could have made this investment worth it. I'd say maybe this isn't just a matter of sentiments or memories even. Leafing through the photographs, I quietly expressed my thoughts. Executive manager? Not exactly an authority on distortions, but I know they manifest through desires or emotions that become warped in bizarre ways. But everything the distortion has shown us so far points back to S-Corp. That is, the S-Corp from the past that only Kim and Ang-Du would have seen and remembered. These photos, though, they're completely untouched by the distortion. Doesn't that feel off? There must be a strong fixation at play here, strong enough to slip past even a distortion. If that obsession is something that refuses to let these memories be influenced. I think our next step should be to look for the people in these photos. These photographs are the only undistorted, unaltered clues we have. Dante says it would be advisable to look at the people showed in these photographs. Oh, good idea! Team leader did say that we should accept input from the LCB with open arms. Hey, dude, can you get me the office catalog? We'll probably need to commission an office affiliated with Seven Association. Let's look for one that can take the request right away. Can someone tell Ezra we're fine? I think I know where to find those people. Dante says one of the people shown in the photos has already been found. What? When? How? Well, guess I'm just having a lucky day. I pulled the radio from my waist and switched it on without answering Ezra's question. DWRC? Or, DWRC? I think she said, do we regroup clock? That one was especially hard to understand. Ryoshu. Heck. Buddy's with you, right? Can you put her on? Okay. Buddy, you there? Yeah, what? Dante wants to talk? Or, one sec. I kind of went overboard with the bread and pastries. My hands are completely full over here. Pastries? What kind? Just one of everything. Hey, can you grab extra brioche and baguettes for me too? Love the ones for that street. They're so good. Hold on, I gotta readjust the pile if I want to. Just throw them. No, just throw them on, TF. They're packaged. Yosh, you can't treat food like that, Kay. Bread has. Bakers have feelings too, you know. How do you think the baker would feel if they knew someone was treating their precious babies like trash? This scabbard is rattling again for no reason. Anyways, Dante, can you give me a sec if you need me in a fight? Just need to cram these into my pockets real quick. No, it's not a fight. Huh? Then what's this about? I took a close look at the words written on the wicker basket the first photograph Marisol had brought me. Where's that bakery you're at? I think I might call it here. My throat's hurting a bit. Oh yeah. Let's see, no sin has ever risen without a shadow, so this shade too shall I accept. Alright. I think we'll stick with this one though. The Iwoto Square is adorable. Protect the precious Imoto Squire. If you get into a poise team, though, his Lord of Hongyuan ID is better. Not bad for fueling, what was it? Blood Feast. I might as well get it. I don't know. Is this worth it? I don't have that ID. I don't have either of those two egos. Ooh.
앵두야, 이건 또 다 뭐냐?
보시다시피 일입니다.
Bowie.
아, 아이고 맛있다. 한 번만 더. 어?
Oh, that's new. Better not be the announcers again.
신고합니다. 입사를 명받은 그레고르라고 합니다. 작전에 함께 투입돼서 영광입니다.
I'm not gonna press my luck again. Wait, what was it? Okay. Not that it matters, I already got it. I probably should get that. Of course, then again, I'm not getting on any kind of schedule. Hmm. Huh? It's a plus coin? Man, that's crazy. 10 sinking, 8 sinking count. It's only Teth. Dang, man. Ooh. Plus 5% damage for every one total sum of burn on all targets. Deal burn on target times 2% of this coin's final damage. Dang. Every fourth skill this you use gains final power plus 4 and inflicts 4 burn on a hit. Set skills Wrath, deal plus burn potency on all targets, divided by 2% additional damage. It's an ego skill, apply the following effects at coin start of the first coin. If it's a plus coin, heal 10 SP. And if it's minus coin, you lose 15. That's actually really good. Because there's other sinners for whom that would be a lot better on. Specifically, what was it? I actually have have the egos in question. Alright. So yeah, Sinclair's Harmony. This would be either good with this one. I mean, if he had an effect like that, that basically meant that he could use this for, use this for no sanity cost, essentially. Be rather good because it would increase the chances of him using the coin or getting the heads hit. Oh, when did I get that? Ooh. Okay, so maybe not so much this one. Actually, no, it would, because it would give him back some extra sanity, and that is a bit of a steep cost. But it's actually Ishmael that would really benefit from it because of her wingbeat ego. Because using that second coin is dependent on getting a heads hit. So at 25 SP, basically, if she were to get back some of that SP right as she uses it, that would increase the chance of her reusing the coin. Does this one stack up? Oh. Seems like it's not bad. Oh, wrong one. So what are some of the others that got third spin 5? They're probably old ones. Not bad. Yeah, get some base power and coin power too. Goop. That's not a bad passive effect. Especially for a burn team. And he's really good for having on a burn team if you've got his Liu Association skill. Or Liu Association identity, like I do. Times 2. Wasn't it divided by 2 for... Yeah, it was. Wrath skill or skill that inflicts burn potency or count. At 6 plus total sum of burn on all targets, clash power plus 1. Okay, so when I said I think I'll call it here, I lied. I'm allowed to change my mind. And no, I don't know which ones all got a thread spin 5. Oh yeah, I already checked that one. Might get it though. I don't like the face on that calendar. Is it just those two versions of fourth batch flame? Actually, I'm not even sure where the heck to check the patch notes for this game. I suppose they'd probably put it up on their Discord server, if they have one. Do they? Seems a bit tied up at the moment. Pretty sure those two didn't get it. Yeah, check that one earlier. Maybe not on that one. Yeah, just fourth batch flame. Alright, time to raid out. I might as well raid Birdie Boba. She's playing Pragmata right now. as always, folks, thank you for watching, and peace be with you this day and always. Take care.